Hello, everybody. Gage says it's empty. Let's go see what's in the fridge today.
Hey guys, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. I do appreciate it. Today's beer comes from Magnify Brewing Company. These guys are up in New Jersey. This is their Yeah, You Know Me. And this is a monster beer, guys. This is a 15%er. Final beer of the evening for me. Wow, 15%. Drink this one at home, guys, unless you've got a designated driver. I don't know if they have these in the brew pubs and bars around their brewery or not, or whether it's a brewery only release. This was sent to me by my brother Rico, and he writes on this one 15% double mashed Imperial Stout aged in barrels that held neutral spirits, cinnamon, and vanilla for a year before aging the stout, with cocoa nibs added before packaging. Collaboration with Horace Aged Ales, who are located in Oceanside, California. So we got East Coast and West Coast collaborating to produce this beer. It says no canned on date. Said he traded for it last month and is sold in 2-packs. Wow, 2-packs. But it's a 15%er now, guys. 2 of these is like 4 beers. 4 big beers, matter of fact. Said it's sold in 2-packs at the brewery for $18 for 2, so you're paying $9 for each one of these cans. It's 15% barrel aged, so not too unreasonable. A little pricey, but not unreasonable. And he says it was released back in May 16th of 2018. So, and today is August the 20th of 2018. So you can do the math. May, June, July, August, 3 months. So a 3-month-old 15%er in a can Imperial Stout, not very old. So I'm hoping it's not going to be too boozy. I would like to see some kind of vintage on the label or on the can somewhere to let us know when it was put in the can. So that would be my only fuss before we get to top. And Rico has left a little plastic liner on top of it, which I will pop off. And I like the breweries that are doing these solid ones and not just a regular 6-pack or 4-pack or 2-pack ring, which really harms the wildlife. So I like that they are doing that anyway. So that is probably all we need to talk about. Let me jump over to Untappd and their commercial. It's a little bit long. Bear with me here because I am going to read it. Commercial script says, "Yeah, You Know Me" is a massive 15% Imperial Stout brewed in collaboration with Kyle from Horace Aged Ale. Our goal was to make a thick, fudgety Imperial Stout. We started with a double mashed Imperial Stout base. Post fermentation, we added the most insane coffee we could buy, so it got coffee in it, guys. Another reason why I want to see a date on this, because coffee is going to fade over time, just like hops do. So they need to put a vintage on here. This may be the reason. If it's a 10 beer, they won't get to 10 because they put coffee in this and they don't have a date on it. Just my opinion, though. The single origin coffee from the Fazenda Santa lines in Brazil had cocoa nibs and almonds added to it while roasting. As a result, the coffee imparted deep cocoa and nutty aromas to the beer. If they're going to put coffee in it, I mean, if this didn't have any coffee in it, this beer is going to sell for quite a long time. and probably nothing's going to happen to it to make it unimpressive, or you're not getting what they want you to get. But they definitely put coffee in this beer, so it needs to have a vintage on it. It needs to have a date on it, as far as I'm concerned. This is like an IPA or a double IPA. They need to have canned on it. So Magnify Brewing, you need to date this kind of beer. I mean, this is just like an IPA or a double IPA. You put coffee in the beer, and that fades over time. You would not want this beer after it's a year or so old, because you're not going to get those coffee notes that this beer is going to have. Hopefully it's going to have. But it's already May, June, July, August. It's already 3 months old. So that's typical shelf life for an IPA or a double IPA without something fading like the hops or the coffee. So as far as I'm concerned, Magnify, you step up to the plate, boys. Put a date on this if it's got coffee in it, so we'll know. And they do that intentionally to sell more beer, to let it sit on the shelf if it's on the shelf. But if you're buying a beer that's brewed with coffee and it's a year or so old, you're not going to get this coffee note. So I don't understand the reasoning behind that. You're not going to get additional sales. You might sell that beer, but you think that person is going to come back and buy your beers again? I wouldn't. So, I mean, it's a double-edged knife there. We're selling more, but they're not going to buy us again. So, which side of that knife you want to be on? So, date your shit. That's where I'm going to leave it. All right, it's a plain Jane silver can. Nothing written on the bottom of it. We'll take Rico for his word at it, but I think these guys, if they want to get the 10 grade, they need to have some kind of vintage or dating on it. Just me, though. Into the glass we go. It looks pitch black coming out. While I pour this, guys, I'll say food pairing says cheeses are buttery, brie, Gouda, Havarti, Swiss, general chocolate, digestives, meats, beef, smoked meat, game, and grilled meat. Glassware to pint, Becker, non tumbler, snifter, oversized wine glass. I got my favorite tulip glass. It says here you can sell it for a long period of time. Just remember what I said. The coffee's going to fade, guys. All right, right down the middle, hardly any head. On that pour, it is pitch black, guys. It is dark as night. Through the nose we go. Rich roasted malt, slight hint of some cinnamon and vanilla. Got a nice sweetness to it. Some nice chocolatey notes. May even be some dark fruit in there, but it's kind of chilled out of the fridge, so those notes will probably come out as it warms up, which I will do. I always do. Smells very nice. For 15%, I'm not getting a lot of booziness or alcohol on the nose. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Rico. Thank you, my brother. Oh, wow. That is very, very nice. A little bit of heat from the alcohol, but it doesn't seem to be boozy. A little bit of coffee in there. I mean, it's not no espresso off the chain coffee, but I am getting some slight hints on the taste that there's coffee in there. Very nice chocolatey notes. Hints of cinnamon. The cinnamon is not overpowering. A lot of times when they put cinnamon in there, that's all you get. I mean, it's like a pumpkin pie beer. I mean, you're getting cinnamon and allspice and nutmeg, like a lot of the Oktoberfest or pumpkin beers do. That is very pleasant, guys. That is absolutely very, very pleasant. Little bit of heat, not much. A little bit of heat from the alcohol, but it's not boozy. That's the difference between a well-made beer and not a well-made beer. Whether it's super boozy or you just get a little heat from the alcohol and not being boozy. This one doesn't seem to be boozy at all. A very enjoyable beer, even to be a fresh beer. Well, fairly fresh, 3 months old. I'm going to do the back end pour on this. It could not possibly change how black the beer is, because it is super dark. That's very pleasant. For 15%. Very well made. Very well made. The only fuss I got about it since I use coffee is not having a vintage or a date on it. But I'm going to sip on this. It's right out of the fridge. Let her taste it. And I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. Been sipping on this for a while. Got the hiccups. Awesome beer. 15%. Very well made. The only thing that sticks in my craw is it has no vintage on it, and they've introduced coffee into this beer. This is an outstanding beer, guys. For 15% alcohol, is fairly well hidden, as much as it can be hidden for 15%. But I want to see that vintage. I want to see that it's got coffee in it. We have to have some kind of dating on coffee beers because that fades over time. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. A lot of times I get the hiccups on these big monster beers at 15% or bigger. I enjoyed this beer. I would probably buy this beer if I could get it here if it had a vintage or some kind of dating on it. And when I say vintage, a lot of the stouts, Imperial Stouts and stuff, the year is okay. But when you're introducing coffee to that beer, those coffee notes fade. And already I think the coffee notes have already started to fade. It's only 3 months old. The coffee is already started to fade. I got a feeling the coffee would have been a lot more prevalent in this beer, being a 4-week, 6-week-old beer and not a 3-month-old beer. That's the only fuss I've got about this. Other than that, this is a 10 beer in a 9 can because there's a lack of dating on it. And I don't understand that. This is a collaboration beer between 2 breweries. Are they going to do that again? Probably not. So why not put some kind of dating on the label? At least on the can somewhere, so you know. But you know, the reason they do that is to sell more beers. So 15%. Oh, this beer, you look at the label, it says 15%. This beer is going to keep forever, so it's not a big deal. But it's had coffee introduced into the beer. So it is a big deal. It is to me anyway. I want to taste all those big coffee notes and aromas that the coffee is going to lend to the beer. So it is what it is. It's just my opinion. Probably would not buy this beer, even though it's an excellent beer. It's an outstanding beer. It doesn't have the date on it. And having coffee introduced or in the brewing process, it's important to me. So final chug on this one. Outstanding aroma, guys. It really is. I just want to get all the coffee notes that they want you to have. Final chug. And we've got some sediment in the bottom of it here. It's leaving a big dark streak on the side of the glass here for that final chug. The cinnamon is there. It's not overpowering. Vanilla. Maybe some slight hint of some coconut. Rich roasted malt. Some nice chocolate notes on it. Very, very nice, guys. Like I said, 10 beer in a 9 can. 98 for me is where I'm going to put this one. Over to Beer Advocate, they say 4.36 in the outstanding range. It is an outstanding beer, guys. Alcohol is as hidden as it can be for a 3-month-old 15%er. Over to Untapped, they have it at 4.43. Awesome numbers from those guys. Excellent beer, guys. It really, really is. If you can get it fresh, this is probably going to be an outstanding, world class. And it still is, being 3 months old, but I'm not getting the coffee notes that I think I probably would have got from this beer being a month old. So, with that with that being said, 98 for me. Over to Beer Advocate, like I said, 4.36, and Untapped has it at 4.43. So definitely an A beer, guys. I just wish they would put some kind of dating on it, since they've done coffee in the beer. So, with that being said, if you've had this one from Magnify Brewing, collaboration between them and the West Coast Brewery, let me know what you think. Until we meet again, let's go see what's in the fridge.